MULATSCHAG! Can you recall when you first heard Victims of Changes?
Wow.
Good question.
That is amazing that you even brought that up, because just yesterday we were busting that out in rehearsal and we're like, man, we need to drop a big cover of this song. It was probably the heaviest song I'd ever heard in my life at that point. My buddy had it on vinyl and he had this old Pioneer, you know, analog stereo with these giant speakers in his basement, and he turned that shit up and I was like, it was so powerful. Till this day, it's so powerful. Maybe one of my favorite songs.
Well, speaking of old records, you even got your own vinyl room, right?
Yeah.
Do you still use it?
We both do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his is even better than mine. His is all tripped out and psychedelic, and like when you go in there, you feel like you're tripping. Yeah, we're both fans of vinyl.
Speaking of the vinyl room, where's Frampton Comes Alive? Does it have a shrine?
A shrine. I have many shrines actually in my house. But one cool thing I did get was it's a picture frame that's for an album, but it opens up. So the record that you're actually playing, you put in this picture frame and close it so that it's a record on the wall while you're listening to it, which is cool.
It's wonderful. I was just mentioning, because you once said that was the first record you bought. Frampton Comes Alive.
The Frampton Comes Alive. That was the very first record.
Does that have a shrine?
Oh, does it have a shrine? No, but it still has resin stains on it from when I used to clean my pot. It was a double record.
What's up, Europe?
And pot had seeds back then, and in America, and so you know you'd have to crunch up the buds. All the seeds would come down into the crease, and then you just took the double Frampton Comes Alive record, and we were like, yes, all the seeds rolled out.
Yeah, back then you had to take the seeds out of the weed.
You never really learned a real job, Shannon. You know,
I've been lucky. Been very lucky.
How about your daughter now? Does she say, "Come on, Dad, don't tell me shit"?
No, she's a senior in college at University of South Florida, so I'm very proud of her. You know, I dropped out in 10th grade. I graduated from Rock and Roll High School, you know, so.
That's a different picture.
Yeah, so seeing her go to college, that's just probably, you know, the proudest moment of my life, really, you know. She's going to be graduating. His daughter's just graduating high school and about to make that jump. So, you know, in the real world, there it is, our children, you know. Music is number one after our children, you know.
When was the last time you had contact to Rush drummer Neil Peart?
He actually did an interview for the documentary that's going to be coming out at some point, and did a review on me and Shannon's drum battle. And it might have been the last time he went on camera, because he'd been retired and he literally is done. Like, he shut off that part of his life now. He feels he's done everything he can do.
He's 120.
And but I mean, literally, he told Shannon that right to his face. Shannon's like, "Aren't you gonna play a little?" And he's like, "No, I think I'm done." Shannon's like, "Yeah, but you're not even gonna have like a drum set in your basement?" He goes, "Son, I think I've done everything I can do on the drums." Shannon was like, "Yes, you have, sir." And so he was done, man. But you know, we got to meet him a few times, and I'm very good friends with his personal assistant, and he agreed to do an interview, and we have that on video, luckily, and we're very, very proud of that. That's kind of an extremely important thing for me and Shannon, especially after all the work we put into that drum battle over the year, to hear the actual icon of drumming, you know, praise us for the work that we did is a real honor.
Oh, I'm sure he's flattered. You know, you wrote a song about him. You did so many things to remind people of, hey, look at that drummer, man.
One of my biggest inspirations in the world. He changed my life, you know, for sure.
I have to ask this old question you have been asked over and over again. You know, in America, you put out a song like this Whiskey song, gets #1, you know. You're so big in the States, and then you come over to Europe, and people are like, I've heard about this band. This band is good, you know. You always like this, you have to know about GODSMACK when you're cool, you know. How do you see the difference over the years?
You want to take this, or?
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, you know, we had a lot of bad luck. where tours would happen, and we'd start to book a tour, and then something would happen, whether illness.
The record label was a mess for a while too.
Yeah, and the record label, Universal, it was great for us in America, but for some reason, in other territories, there was a lot of excuses. But honestly, it really wasn't our fault. We didn't say, we don't want to go and play in Europe. That was never the case. So each record cycle, too, our records come out 4 years apart. And so that was a strike against us, really, for trying to come and conquer Europe or whatever, just because, so much time passes. And so at this point, we made a conscious decision. Like we feel like at this point in our career, it's time to do the work. And no matter what obstacles try, like even now, our guitar player, unfortunately, his son passed away right before our last tour. So there was a nut. We're like, geez, what, they don't want us to come?
Those kind of things, honestly, over the years, we just ran into a lot of bad timing and bad luck. And whenever we had something planned to come and start waking up the crowd again, something just tripped us up and we couldn't get here. Yep. Long story short, we're not here to cry over spilt milk. We're here to do the work, like Shannon said. We have a plan in place with some of the best people in the industry, and our mission is to break Europe, UK, and start, really getting to a more headlining status here, because we have a big, fabulous show we want to bring here.
Yeah, that's a big thing with us too. A lot of the times we're coming over, and since we don't have the success we have over there, we're playing literally with none of our production. And our fans, that's one thing why we're not rich guys, is because we spend the money and we put on a huge show that we're proud of, and it makes us feel like the fans are getting their money's worth when they pay that exorbitant ticket fee that they have these days, And so finally we're working hard to get to a spot where we can bring some of our production, and a lot has even happened just with this record cycle. Like we bought the moving mobilator drum risers, they're called, so that we can perform our drum solo, that Neil Peart wrote about or whatever. We never even got to do that before in Europe.
One other thing, Shannon, when was the last time you were on a Harley?
Last time I was where?
On a Harley?
On a Harley, oh my God, 2 weeks ago when I was home. We had a short break. We've been going for a long time. We're gypsy blooding on this cycle, and but we had an almost 2 week break, and I took her out once. It's so hot. It's like this, very hot in Florida. I live in Florida, but I did take it out, and I look forward to winter in Florida because you can ride just all the time there,
Yeah.
If a guy comes up to you and says, let's make a big bang GODSMACK show, money is not a question. You can do whatever you want. What should be in it? Where should it be? What will be in it?
That's a good question.
Can it be as big as you imagine? Money is not the question.
Wow, man.
What should be in it? Where should it be?
Well, it certainly should be in the round in the stadium.
In the round, yeah, in the round for sure.
We'll fucking rock that shit Rolling Stone style.
Yeah.
I want to come in by a fucking helicopter. Fucking parachute into that son of a bitch with fucking flamethrowers. I don't know. It sounds like kind of Rammstein maybe, right?
Yeah. Or like Prince did that in Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be some kind of... Listen, if anybody knows me with my intros, I always try to go for a big, epic intro. And if we had no limit on money and we could do it as big as we want, I'm sure the intro to that thing would be fucking spectacular. So... But I definitely see it in the round in a stadium. I'd like to be right in the center and work at 360 degrees. I'll start there and then, give me the money and then we'll talk about the rest.
We'll think about it.
What's up, it's Shannon.
And I'm Sully, and we are half of GODSMACK, and you are watching MULATSCHAG.
The only TV you need.
Don't go anywhere. MULATSCHAG!